Hi there! So today I'm going to be reviewing this case here, the Corsair Carbide Air 240. I've been using this case for the past 2 weeks, or a few weeks since I got it, as my case for my main personal computer. I just felt like I wanted to share my thoughts on it with you guys and anyone who might be interested in this case, just to add on another opinion to what others have said already. So when you first get the case, it comes pre-built already with all the side panels on and all the hard drive cages on. So what we're going to do is we're going to open up the cages and I'm going to explain some of the features of this case for you guys. So as you can see here, I've taken off both these side panels, the top panel and the front panel of the case. Now when you're going to build the computer, you don't really need to take the front panel of the case off, but I took it off just to kind of show that you can move these two front fans up and down along some sliders that are included here. The fans that are included in the case are 3 of Corsair's A120 case fans. They're 120mm fans, and there's room for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of them in total in the case, and there's also room for 2 80mm fans in the case, back of the case as well. I've kind of left the case fans the way they were when they came installed, with the exception of these two, kind of spreading them out to get that airflow spread out a little more. This side of the case where all the fans are is going to be where you mount your motherboard and graphics cards. And you can notice that there's plenty of grommets, rubber grommets for cable management, approximately 6 rubber grommets individually so you can manage all of your cables. Turning around the case to the other side, you can see the area where you have your hard drive cage and cable management from your front I/O panel, as well as an area for your power supply. Now there are 2 hard drive cages that come with this case, a 2.5-inch hard drive cage here and a 3.5-inch hard drive cage that comes out above the power supply behind the CPU on the motherboard. I removed mine and I'll talk about why later. On the hard drive cages, you'll notice that they can just slide right in and out the top here, and they come as kind of toolless hard drive mounts. Toolless meaning that if we take our SSD or hard drive, we don't need to screw it in to the actual holder. Oh gosh, get in there. It'll just go in like that using friction and some rubber grommets. So when you slide it in, if I could find a slider, it just sits in there just like that. So now that we've gone over some of the basic parts of the case and kind of the basic setup that you get out of the box, I'm going to go ahead and throw my system in here and then kind of give you some pointers and some notes that I found on it while I'm building. So one thing you can do with this case that I found pretty interesting is the way you can have it show off your motherboard. In almost all the retail pictures and all the other reviews I've seen, most people have it sitting so that the motherboard is facing vertical, up like this. However, the way they plan this case out is the rubber feet that come with the case, you can stick it on whichever side you want. And the case is intended to either sit vertical motherboard like this, or on its side, horizontal motherboard like this if you feel like looking at your graphics card through the side of the dust filters. And it's also meant for that in that the Corsair logo on the front panel is magnetic and comes off, slides off easily, and can be oriented the proper way depending on which way you want to set your motherboard. Something to note about the case is that the front panel USBs are 2 USB 3.0 headers. So it comes with a USB 3.0 motherboard header. It's something you should really take into consideration when buying this case, because if your motherboard is kind of older or doesn't have the USB 3.0 headers on it like mine does, you will need to be picking up a USB 2.0 to 3.0 connection joint. I have been using it this entire time and can say that even though it's got the connection joint from 3 to 2, both USB headers still work. So something else I wanted to point out was actually cable management. You can see here that it does hold full ATX power supplies. When I talked earlier about the hard drive cages, I mentioned that I took the 3.5-inch hard drive cage out of the case because they only give you cable mounting grommets on the right side of the motherboard. So if you need to put your 8-pin or 4-pin CPU connector into this side, the left side of your motherboard, on this side of your motherboard, you'd have to come from this grommet here all the way to right here. Now something that I did notice inside the case is that there is a little hole cut out right up in here behind this fan for a cord that can actually fit down straight to it. But the problem being is that when the hard drive cage is mounted, it's mounted up flush right up against the back of the board, so you wouldn't be able to get your cable into the hole right here, which is why I took my 3.5 hard drive out so I could do that cable management there. So here you can see what it kind of looks like when it's been mostly cable managed. The side panel that comes right off the fan of the power supply has a nice magnetic removable dust filter. But the only problem is it's really hard to make your cables look pristine and perfect in this case, so if you ever do want to sit with your dust filter off to watch that pretty fan, you're going to get all that mess of cables in the blocking your aesthetic view of the case. Installing and uninstalling the side, top, bottom panels, you'll notice that every screw on it is all a nice handy little thumb screw that holds onto the panel whenever you remove it. And the same thing for the 3.5-inch hard drive bay at the back. So you guys have it, the Corsair Carbide Air 240. It's a really great MicroATX chassis. There's definitely a lot of room in there for other expansion in the future, like if you wanted to have an AIO water cooler, there is definitely room for a 240 radiator. Maybe sometime in the future I'll be upgrading my CPU cooling and I'll let you guys know how well it fits in there. But anyway, thank you guys so much again for watching, and once again, please leave any constructive criticism or any comments. I love listening to them and hear them, and hope you guys have a great day.